A new project aims to close the existing gap on Pacific Ocean data. New Zealand Geographic and Cawthron Institute have launched Citizens of the Sea, aiming to map the health and biodiversity of the Pacific at a larger scale than before. The project partners with sailors who gather the data and return it for analysis. A flotilla of boats was set to leave New Zealand's Bay of Islands on Thursday for the Pacific Rally, with the science tools on board. Christina Persico spoke with Xavier Porchon, who is part of Cawthron Institute's biosecurity group.
There's 3 types of data that we are collecting effectively in the program. There is environmental DNA, or eDNA for short. The other set of data is biophysical sensors data, such as temperature or water depth that each boat are equipped with. And the third component is a 3D reconstruction of coral reefs, and this is using cutting-edge photogrammetry. The eDNA in particular, this is my space. This is what I've been working on for more than a decade now. Refers to all of the DNA traces or the genetic material that is left behind organisms in their milieu. We now have the capacity, the ability to capture this eDNA from a few liters of seawater, and we can concentrate it back in the lab. We can then read it using DNA sequencing in a process that's called metabarcoding. So a little bit like when you go to the supermarket and you scan your spaghetti or other items, and that allows you to visualize and create a full catalog of marine life that is found in any particular sample. Therefore, this is a really, really powerful technology because it can be harnessed, to track biodiversity shifts in response to climate change, for example. It can identify conservation hotspots, or also to the reverse, it can identify regions that are more stressed by the changing climate or by pollution gradients in coastal areas, and it can also monitor the health of our ocean.
It sounds to me as a layperson that this info could be very useful for people who live in the Pacific. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. So the beauty of these tools is that they're really user-friendly. These could be distributed relatively easily to communities in the Pacific, and it's certainly something we aim for as we move in the program.
You spoke briefly about biophysical sensors and testing water temperature. Is that going to feed into data about climate change?
Yes, absolutely. So that's a really good question because those biophysical sensors are essential for combining with the eDNA analysis. So the eDNA will give you the biological layer of what's going on in the surface ocean samples, understanding the food webs, how organisms interact, who eats what, and then if you add onto that the knowledge on temperature profiles through the water column, the water depth, and in the future we will develop very actively other portable sensors like temperature, sea surface temperature, obviously, but also salinity, dissolved oxygen, pH.
What impact do you hope that this program will have on communities who live on Pacific Islands?
Certainly, we hope that this effort will aid communities in the Pacific in a big way. Obviously, we talked about it before. There's a huge data gap in the Pacific. It's incredibly important for island nations to understand the state of their biodiversity and health. If you look no further than what's happening right now on coral reefs, it's really quite heartbreaking to just, I've heard last week, as a matter of fact, that we're experiencing the 4th global bleaching event. Coral reefs are essential for island nations up there to protect the coastlines, to maintain a rich and biodiverse habitat that brings fish and that people feed on them, etc., etc. So it's really essential that we get a much better understanding of the health status of this ecosystem, and this is something we could do by combining the eDNA analysis over these reefs and the coral reef photogrammetry, which is the third component of the program, which is essential in this avenue.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
I would just like to say that in terms of community engagement on island nations in the tropics. This is really something that's at the heart of the project. We're starting this process right now, but with key scientists that are placed in these different islands that work directly with the program. So we've got people in Tonga, like Karen Stone at the Vava'u Environmental Protection Association. We've got Victor Bonito, who is the director of Reef Explorer Fiji, doing amazing work with communities and schools in Fiji, bringing them over reefs and farming corals and increasing the ocean literacy with everyone. And then we also have some colleagues, of course, in New Caledonia at CNRS and University of New Caledonia who are directly involved in this project. So what we hope to do is to push the science, but also as we advance, have dedicated workshops with not only the sailors that are collecting the data. We will analyze their data as soon as they arrive in Tonga and Fiji, and we commit in about 3 to 4 weeks to get all of the genetic sequences back to them, and we'll meet them in Fiji for a dedicated workshop in September 5th. We want to share this data in a way that they can understand with very fun and interactive web app that we're developing right now where they can explore their own data. And we will take this opportunity to bring local communities to the table, including local schools and local stakeholders, ministries, so that we can get really a nice exchange of knowledge, both traditional and modern knowledge.